The All-Star Game festivities are over. Mr. 69 and I will recap the game, recap the All-Star Game, and take a look to the future with Mr. Ohtani and what he might be doing on the mound. Plus, we have Mount Rushmore. All that and more on this episode of Closers. What is going on, everybody? Your boy James the Greek here, and without further ado, let's bring in the man that everybody wants to see, because they don't want to see this mug. They want to see Mr. 69, David Aardsma. DA, how are you, buddy?
Good. Back here at the golf course. I know this isn't back at my place, and I get it. My office, the beautiful background and everything, and perfect lighting. But I'm out here for my boy. I'm out here for DZ so he can get better at golf like he wants to do. He wants to get better for his high school and get better for himself. So desperate times call for me being outside in 100-degree heat doing the show while sweating.
It's okay. You pull it off better than most. How's DZ playing these days? What's his handicap?
I don't know his handicap. We don't have an official handicap yet. This is like an academy process right now. So he's out. They're doing like these cool challenges where they have to be like 25 yards away from the hole, and they have to shoot within you have to like be negative in their rounds. And then once you pass that, then you have to be 50 yards. So he's at the 50-yard marker now, 50 yards from the green, and you have to get in 3 each time. And so it's really, it's kind of a cool little process. He's getting better, and he's better than me. I have yet to beat him. At the same time, like I've been going through my hip replacement stuff when he's been starting to be a good golfer. So a little different, but if I feel like if I actually tried and got with a coach, a swing coach, and figure some things out, I wouldn't be the worst golfer.
No, I've seen you play. You have a good swing. You have everything that you need. And boy, if you ever want to laugh, you should see Aardsma hit it off the tee, because when he connects, I have seen him go over the green. Like, you hit it really far. Now, of course, it's Arizona, so it's thinner air and you can hit it farther, but you still hit it a hell of a lot farther than I have.
Hey, don't get me bullshit on there. I still went out to a long drive contest, and I beat I beat a guy in the top 10 in the world in the long drive rankings. I beat him head to head in a competition. So
what was your long drive distance?
In that competition was 392, and I beat him. And again, he's a top 10 guy, and I beat him head to head in that competition. But it's not out here. I'll hit a 400, almost every time I'm out. 380, 390. I've hit a 423 was the furthest I had marked, like on a course. I was watching Kyle Berkshire. He hit one the other day up in Montana or some mountains or something, hit 503 drive. 503. And he hit a 2. This is the number that destroyed my brain cells. A 224 pitching wedge.
Dude, there are times that I hit my driver 224. Like, I could get a 500-yard drive if I had 2 shots. A 224-yard pitching wedge is ridiculous.
And I'm like here, I'm about 150 with a full swing pitching wedge, full smooth swing pitching wedge. I'm about 150. And so I have a trouble 100 yards in, because then I got to go to some clubs that are just tough for me a little bit. Like, it's tough 100 yards in. I can't slow down a pitching wedge that much, whatever. But 150 is about mine. So it's pretty incredible what he does. 124 out here, I'm like 7.
Well, next time I'm out there, you and I should play a scramble, because I'm really good at the short game. Within 100 yards. Dude. I'm pretty good.
I'm within 100. I'm actually really good. I just have a hard time finding the right club. I've just had a hard time, because I have to go to like a 58. I have to go to something like that, and just hard for me to get it. But I'm actually really, really good 100 in. It's just sometimes it's hard for me. It takes some swings to figure out what the right club length is. But scrambles, I am the perfect scramble guy. You guys, just somebody put it in the middle of the fairway, and boy, let's roll.
Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. I subscribe to a baseball podcast. Why the hell are they talking golf?
No.
Well, I'm gonna get this all together. You know why we're talking golf? Because most of the players in Major League Baseball right now are talking golf because they're not playing. They're sitting there relaxing. So a guy like Jeff McNeil, who's a golf junkie, he's playing rounds and rounds of golf. So that's why we did it. Not because we have any interest in golf or anything, or we wanted to talk about it. Nah, that's not it. Anyway, I digress. What do you say we talk a little bit about the All-Star Game, pal?
Let's roll, dude.
All right. So let's start off with the home run derby. And I'm kind of disappointed for a few reasons. And, it's a great competition. I love everything that they've done with it. Visually, I like what they've done with it. I like that they had those awesome jerseys this year. I kind of like the bling of the Derby champ thing. You see the video right now, they were on those pedestals. That's awesome. What I have a problem with, on the other hand, however, is I absolutely hate this timed thing that they brought in a few years ago. What do you think about the timed home run derby as opposed to the 10 outs?
The only problem was the 10 outs were started to take so long. They were taking pitches. We forget. Yeah, we can look back at like the Josh Hamilton one and be like, oh, the 10 pitches were amazing. Like all this and like these certain times were perfect. That's like remembering baseball in the 90s and remember like it was fast, it was good paced, it was perfect. And then it started to slow down. We forget how dragging, like it was just dreadful to sit there and watch the home run derby because it was taking so dang long. This is the answer. And it's, you know what, for all the complaints, it's actually a little better setup. And what you see is there's really not a whole lot of disparity between first and last, well, minus Chisholm. Outside of that one horrific guy in there, everyone else was within 15 to 21. Like that's perfect. And so you see that the timed mechanism actually ended up, I think it evens it out and makes guys a lot closer than what they normally would be with only 10 swings or 15 swings.
Okay. I could see your point.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's the solution to a problem. And the problem was a very slow, miserable time watching something that should be fun.
But you could also switch it in a way that instead of giving somebody 10 outs, give them 5 outs in the first round, then let them get to the 10 outs in the final round. I like that because right now you have the split screen and, these guys are hitting balls before the next one actually lands. I got a little bit of a problem with it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I liked the old format. That's the only issue I have. Now, David, we mentioned Jazz Chisholm not having the exact greatest time in the home run.
It was horrible. Stop it.
With only 3 home runs.
It was brutal.
Whoa. What's going on? All of a sudden you moved?
Right, exactly. Moved around. They were actually going to go do some work outside. So here I am.
Okay, fair enough. Better off.
It's so hard. I would rather be in my office, be perfect, everything perfect. It's being a dad. This is what you got to do.
Yeah. I don't have that, unfortunately. Okay, so anyway, we started talking about Jazz Chisholm, and he had a brutal showing. Only 3 home runs in the home run derby. And nobody really looks at Jazz Chisholm as a home run guy, but I can certainly understand why he entered the home run derby. What did you think about Jazz entering the home run derby, and would you have done it if you were Jazz?
Getting into it again, obviously go to the short. We talked about this on the short right when he got announced. I thought it was the dumbest idea ever. Didn't understand it. Didn't make any sense. And we'll talk about this a little bit more too with Kyle Stowers. Is it Stowers? Who ended up hitting in the swing off at the end of the home run derby. That guy who you had never heard of. Almost 90% of Major League Baseball people listening to this, any fans, have never heard of him. He had more home runs than Chisholm in a much, and again, much harder ballpark to hit home runs in. The easiest ballpark, the easiest place to hit home runs is as a lefty in Yankee Stadium. We all know it. It's the easiest place in the world. And he's mediocre. He does it mediocrely. It's horrible. People talk about how this he's a fun, exciting player you want to watch. I don't think anybody sees him as fun and exciting anymore. I think it becomes a headache when you see him getting thrown out of baseball games for strike calls that are obvious strike calls or like half an inch off the strike zone. And you're like, it just becomes exhausting. And he's not this enjoyable player that Major League Baseball keeps trying to shove down your throat. He has a big smile and he wears swag. That doesn't make it fun. There's a big difference between that and other players who are fun to watch and exciting and bring enjoyment to the game and aren't like just constantly finding little negatives or getting on social media and finding negatives about people and posting things about umpires or whatever about the game. I don't get it. He had 17 home runs, a big deal. He's 20-something in the league, 27th in the league in home runs. I mean, you're telling me 25 other players or 22 other players already said no? That is BS. They jumped it, and they've been trying to sell him ever since they put him on the MLB the show cover. They've been trying to sell him as this player we all have to pay attention to. And back then, I get it. He was young, exciting. We didn't know what was going to happen. And then it became mediocre. And he's having a decent season. Let that be a decent season. There's so many other players that I would have rather seen than Jazz Chisholm, because you're sitting there going, this isn't. And like people online trying to tell me like that, oh, he's got a perfect swing for this. This is going to be great and exciting. You saw exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In that ballpark, if you give me that many swings, I'm going to get a home run.
Yeah.
I'm going to, at 43 years old with a bad hip, I'm going to get one. I guarantee that. He got 3, and he actually does this for a living. Like, I hate it. I thought it was dumb to begin with, and it proved itself to be dumb.
Yes, it was dumb, but I understood why he took up the challenge because it's good for his Q rating.
From his standpoint, totally different. You don't even get to argue that. From him, okay. Oh yeah, you say yes. If Major League Baseball came to me and said, we're going to ask you a home run derby, I'd laugh at him. And then I'm saying, hell yes. And I'm going to go in that batting cage and train every single day with bloody, blistered hands to try to not make a fool out of myself. Right. And I'm saying, hell yes. And for him, yeah, but they keep handing things on like the silver platter to him and want to elevate him to this other level. And he just keeps finding ways to not take that challenge.
My biggest problem with the home run derby is just the entrants that are in there. You know, I like to relate things when it comes to marketing of baseball. I like to relate it to the WWE. So when in the WWE, you have good guys, baby faces, and you have heels, bad guys. You look at the guys that were in the home run derby, they were neither. They don't push the needle. They don't evoke any sort of emotion for me. Brent Rooker, fine player. I like Brent Rooker, but I am a hardcore baseball fan. The average 16-year-old kid in St. Louis has no idea who Brent Rooker is. They don't have like, ooh, I don't like him. And they don't have the, yay, I can't wait to see Brent Rooker. So what is the point of having a guy like that in there? You need to get the big names. And if you can't get the big names, I have a solution. But tell me what you think about the field this year and the emotion that it evokes in you, David.
I actually, in general, like the field. I think we have two arguments here. There's a Major League Baseball problem that they can't get the top guys in. I get Aaron Judge has done it before. Ohtani's done it before, but they should be doing it again. This is what made the 90s baseball so fun, is that the top dudes did the top things constantly. They were always in the home run derby. Maybe their time has passed a little bit, but Cal Raleigh, Eugenio Suarez, you should get Schwarber in there, or even a Pete Crow Armstrong. Like these guys, you got to go straight at the top of the list down. And I need the top guys. If I can't get a Judge Ohtani, that's fine. We can live with it. But I love James Wood being in it. I love Junior Caminero. I think Junior Caminero's hit one of the most exciting home runs ever in baseball history when they showed the Dominican series, the Caribbean series home run. That's so fun. I understand Alonso not doing it. He's already back-to-back champion with the COVID year in between. Buxton, cool. Like Buxton's one of our young I can't call him young anymore.
Yeah,
he's a superstar, just can't stay on the field. And so there's names on this list. I love O'Neal Cruz, and if they would have Ellie Dale Cruz, dude, awesome. You knew he was going to hit balls harder than anybody in the history of the home run derby, and almost farther than anybody in the history. That's so cool. I like it. It's just outside of Cal Raleigh, and I loved them putting Brent Rooker in it. You might not have liked it. I know he doesn't move the needle, but he's a player that if he's a New York Yankee, he's a superstar. If he's a New York Yankee, he's an MVP candidate. If he's a Dodger, everybody in the world knows his name. He's just an A. That's the only thing stopping him from being a superstar in Major League Baseball is the team he plays for. So I love that they elevated to that level. I love that they took a James Woods. I love a Junior Caminero. I love that they took a Byron Buxton. I like that they took a lot of these guys. Who else am I missing anybody else in there?
No.
That they took. The Chisholm,
Jazz.
Wood, Brooker, Raleigh. Matt Olson. Matt Olson. Dude, this guy was a home run champion a couple years ago in the National League. He had the most home runs in the National League a couple years ago. Get it. And it was supposed to be Acuna. But outside of that, like the Chaz and maybe just some problem grabbing the superstar name. But the list itself wasn't bad. It was just the Chaz, the Jazz one. It's like everybody's like, okay, I don't have the superstar, but I got a lot of that second tier. I got that big second tier list, which I like. I got the next superstars, which I'm totally okay with. I can survive with that. It's just then you took a guy thrown in there and you're just like, if I'm not going to have the superstar that turns the needle, I need another one of those guys that's in that middle, that's like right there on the next going to become a superstar guy. Give me an Ellie De La Cruz. Give me a PCA. Give me a Wiley Green that guys might not know, like nationally. I'm okay. I can live with that. Spencer Torkelson. I can live with these guys and say, okay, this is that big next level of superstars that you're going to know about the next 3 years. And then you sit there in 2 years, go, damn, that was a pretty damn good list of guys. But right now you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Look, the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby is just a giant marketing ploy. That's what it is. You use that opportunity to get out there in front of the entire world. So why not make it more interesting? Why not make the rivalries better? So first round of the Home Run Derby, we're going to do Judge versus Ohtani. Then we're going to do, if you can get these guys, of course, but it would be far more intriguing. I want to see Harper versus Trout. I want to see O'Neal Cruz versus Ellie De La Cruz. That's what I want to see, and that's how you bring eyeballs to the TV. Granted, the MLB All-Star Game is by far the best of the All-Star Games, but I don't know if it's necessary anymore. All right, we talked enough about the Home Run Derby. Let's move on to the actual All-Star Game. What were your thoughts on the game?
Great game, very good pitching duel. At the very beginning of the game, great pitching duel. I love that the American League came back. I thought it was great. I actually liked the All-Star Game in general. It was wonderful to see the pitchers on everyone on showcase. The game itself wasn't the most exciting game in the world. Wasn't the worst. I love when they mic'd up the players. PCA having mic'd up was wonderful. Kershaw was like, that's perfect. And he only had the 2 outs, so that was cool. And got the exit. Freddie getting the exit out there. Was it Scooble who was also mic'd up?
Scooble was mic'd up for a while too, yeah.
I love that. And it's so fun because you're giving these guys the personality. You get to realize that they're pretty cool and they're fun to listen to. And it's fun to be a part of the game in a way you've never been a part before. I want to hear catchers. I want to hear catchers mic'd up and talking back there like, all right, here we go. We're going to go with this. Come on, hit this spot right there. Yeah, type of stuff. I want to hear that more often. I want to hear the pitcher and catcher together mic'd up and then make the hitter have like earmuffs or something so they can't hear it. But I love it. I love that they do this stuff, have fun with that, get multiple guys mic'd up at once. I loved when it was Jack Wilson and I don't know.
Jacob, his son.
Jacob Wilson. And they're in the stands in this week, but that could have been a lot more. They could have grabbed it more and been a lot more like kind of exciting. First time ever father-son had been like shortstops in the All-Star Game. So that's really cool, or starting or something like that. So that's really cool.
And you know what's even great? What's even better about that whole situation? I had no idea Jacob Wilson was Jack Wilson's son. So for someone who's a diehard baseball fan like me, that's, I learned something pretty damn cool. Very, very awesome. There was one major problem with the All-Star Game, and I know it's coming. The swing off.
No, that was the best part of it.
Yes.
And I know exactly what you're going to say, and I actually think it's the best part of it.
I agree. It was awesome. And it's cool in the All-Star Game to have a swing off. Do not bring this into the regular season. But why, when you have AL versus NL. The best versus the best. Why wasn't the swing off Ohtani versus Judge?
It's really simple.
I would pay money to watch a 10.
There's a incredibly simple, it's the simplest explanation.
Because they were both gone. But
they're gone.
That's why they couldn't do it. But that's the ultimate. I would pay money. If you told me, hey, James, pay-per-view, $5, you get to watch a home run derby between Judge and Ohtani. Would you pay it?
Oh, yes.
Of course you would. That's what the whole world wanted to see. Why let the guys go home early when that's even a possibility? You could have done such great things for the game of baseball to have just had that.
I am looking online because I know I liked a tweet, and I want to make sure I give her the credit, all the credit's worth. It was somebody, one of my people I work with on MLB Network Radio, but I'll get the name. We'll make sure to give her credit. But she said, "Why not do the swing off before the All-Star Game?"
No,
so
come on.
No. But you're not thinking this through.
Mm-hmm.
The process. You want Ohtani versus Judge. That's the only way in an All-Star game you're going to get Ohtani versus Judge. So before the game starts, they announce the team. They do the incredible Hank Aaron thing, which is just like mind-blowing how cool that was, and especially with the history of baseball. Then what you do, all right, here's the swing off. And you go Ohtani Judge, or you do your teams. You get Alonso in there. You get everyone in there. Boom, Cal Raleigh in there. All right, now we know American League wins the swing off 6-5.
So they're up 6-5 in the game.
So no. Then it's play ball. If we go to extra innings, that's the tiebreaker. But it at least gives you what you want. You don't like the format of it, and I guarantee you don't like that format. You don't want it before. But when the game's over, this doesn't work like that. This is a regular season. One thing that I love this, and Aaron Boone, everyone hates because everyone has to hate on Aaron Boone because heaven forbid, like they're not in like first place for a couple games. And don't get me wrong, like Aaron Boone, like isn't the greatest of managers in the world, but he does a pretty damn good job with what he has. Mm-hmm. Really good job. I think a lot better than almost every other manager in baseball would do, minus probably Kevin Cash. So he went there and found the guys in the game that haven't hit. And he got the guys in the game. This is about them. This is about the fans, and this is about the guys representing their teams. And we might not have liked like who was the one swinging it at the end, but I love that Aranda got an opportunity. A Rosarena, Brent Rooker. I love that these guys, that a Kyle Stowers hit. It should have been my problem with Boone is actually the order. Brent Rooker and a Rosarena should have gone second and then last. Instead of Aranda should have gone first. So him and Kyle Stowers would have gone first and let that get out of the way. And then you go to the Alonso at the end, Schwarber at the end. Because like we didn't get to see, Schwarbaum's go or Alonso go. And we all wanted to see Alonso. So I loved it because we got to see two guys that never played in the game, or at least the one guy that never even got to play in the game, even though he earned his way into being an all-star. That's what it's about. You gave him an opportunity. It's just the problem is you put him in a spot that he makes it look like a villain, makes it look like the guy who ruined it. Instead of if you put him first, no one ever even talks about it. Like it's just, I love that idea and I love what they did. They gave us the solution we wanted. Now we're bitching about who we got.
So this is how I want to end this whole segment. It sounds to me that you are still
Danny Wexelman. I gotta give her all the credit. If they would have done it at the start of the game, you would have gotten exactly what we wanted when we didn't want it. And then, or like, what would you rather choose? What you want when you don't want it, or what you don't want when you want it?
Right. Okay.
Right. I'd rather take it like when I want it.
Here's the thing. If you told me that it was going to be the beginning of the game, and if it was 7-4 in the National League's favor, and you start the game 7-4, I think that's actually kind of cool.
That's actually kind of neat.
That I could get behind.
Actually, I'm digging that now. Like whatever that score is, that's the score.
Yeah, that's how you start the game. I would be into that. But having it like just in case at the end of the game, if it's tied, that's kind of garbage.
I'm going to look back at history and be like, the hell did these scores come from? Like, no one's ever scored that many runs in an All-Star game.
Or how about this? Why don't you use the winner of the All-Star of the Home Run Derby, whether it be an AL or NL guy? Oh, the winner was an AL guy in Cal Raleigh. You start the game 1-0 because Cal Raleigh won the Home Run Derby for you.
I'm digging that. Okay. But then how do you figure out who wins the game if it's tied?
Well, then you can go to the home run.
Then it's like, then everyone's going to complain about it in another, because you're going to get the same thing. At the end of the day, what we always bitched about is a tied All-Star game, and they gave us a solution. Now we're not even happy with it.
But I have a great answer to this. All right, you ready? Instead of the swing off at the end of the game, the only people who can compete are pitchers. Now that's worth sticking around to watch.
That's the same thing. I love it, but guys, it's going to keep you. Guys don't even swing a bat anymore. It's not going to.
That's the whole point. You don't see the All-Star game.
Then like a pitcher gets hurt, hurts a lot, and like they'll oblique, and they'll never do it again because that will happen.
But that can happen if you're pitching, and
it's not. It's the high so much. It's a fun solution. It's fun to think about. But
here's my point. And I wanted to finish this segment on the All-Star game with this. It seems to me that you're still a big fan of the All-Star game.
Yes.
Is the All-Star game still necessary? Because I personally, I don't want to see it. I'm done with it. Like, and the reason the All-Star game came around was because the only way you could hear about a guy in another league was by looking at the newspaper and being like, oh, Ty Cobb is hitting 375, but can't watch him on TV, can't listen to him on the radio. The only chance I have to see him or hear about him is in the All-Star game. Now you have MLB.com, you got YouTube, you got so many different ways of seeing every player in baseball. Maybe it's just a good opportunity to give these guys some rest in the middle, because if you're not going to have the best of the best, which you obviously don't when Juan Soto isn't in there and Judge isn't in the home run derby, then it's kind of not all-star it's an almost all-star tournament. If you're gonna do it, have fun with it. Make the All-Star game. Okay, everybody that was selected to the All-Star game, you're in the All-Star game. But guess what? You're switching your position. Pitchers have to play the field and hit, and batters have to pitch. I want to see except for Shohei, I want to see Kyle Schwarber pitching to Clayton Kershaw. I want to see Clayton Kershaw try to take Kyle Schwarber deep. At least that's interesting. It's fun.
I love it. I love the way it is. People are paying attention to it. People are still watching it. It's exciting. I think, yes, you're losing some viewership, but you're getting more. The problem is you're going to always lose viewership because you can get viewership in so many other ways that we can't measure quite yet. I love the game. I love being picked. I like the game the way it's played. When it turns into that, it turns into the hockey, and it turns into the NBA and NFL. God, those are miserable to watch. And the NBA one is brutal. NFL flag doing it, like, sorry, that's what it is. And you know what the NHL did? They realized when they started doing these games the way like that is, basically the way that is, where the guys don't pay attention, they don't care if the score's 10-11, so it's not real hockey. Baseball game's still the real game. Then you say screw it, you scrap it, and you make a World Cup basically out of it, which is the greatest thing ever. But Major League Baseball, the game still on the field is super serious. They're playing hard. They're playing great baseball, and it's still a great baseball game. NBA and NFL are doing exactly what you're doing, and everybody hates it. Don't do it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. We've talked plenty about the All-Star game. Now, here we're going to talk about my favorite player in the world. But before we go there, I want to talk about my favorite company in the world. And my favorite company happens to be Top Velocity Pro. Why is that, David Ardsma?
Because we'll make you the best player you can ever possibly be. Come to Top Velocity Pro. Go to topvelocitypro.com. Go on all the socials. You will find me. We can do evaluation online. You can do evaluation in person. And we will look at everything you absolutely do, every metric, high-speed cameras, slow motion cameras, everything. But we will get you to be the best player you can ever possibly be. Top Velocity Pro.
There's only one man who cannot possibly benefit from Top Velocity Pro because he is already the best version of himself, and that's Mr. Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani. I was listening to the radio yesterday in New York, and one of the hosts was saying, "Oh, and Shohei Ohtani, the DH, when was the last time he grabbed the glove?" And I wanted to scream into the damn thing. He grabbed one the other day when he pitched.
12. Idiot.
Like, dude, he was pitching.
How do these guys have jobs?
Because
they just. How do they even have jobs? This blows my mind when people say these things. They just have opinions on things they don't know about. And it's like July 12th, he literally pitched 3 innings.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they have jobs, especially in New York, because you cannot badmouth Judge and say that Ohtani's the best player in the world. That's why, because they're looking for a reason every time it comes up between Judge and Ohtani. Oh, Ohtani doesn't do anything other than hit. And this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up. He has had a wonderful start to his pitching renaissance here. Most guys do this in the minor leagues. He's doing it in the pros, and his numbers in his first 9 innings are absolutely freaking crazy. He has 10 strikeouts in his first 9 innings pitched with 1 earned run on what should be rehab assignments. Guys don't do that in the minors in their rehab assignments, and he's doing it in Major League Baseball, which is crazy. David Ardsma, where does Shohei rank among the starters in Major League Baseball? Is he the top? Is he a top 5? Is he a top 10? Where do you put him? Because I'm so sick and tired of everybody talking about, he's only a DH.
Well, one, I always catch this. When you said most guys do this in the minors, he's doing it in the pros. It's all pros. If you're getting paid, you're professional. It's all pros. It's so funny because it's like a little thing that's always like irks me. Like, he could have gone pro, but he only went in the minors. It's like, that's all right.
Homeboy got paid, but against major leaguers, I'm sorry.
So it's so hard to judge right now. He's so early in the process. If he was doing a normal rehab assignment, we wouldn't even talk about Ohtani outside of the fact of some videos would be showing from Rancho Cucamonga or from Oklahoma City saying, "Oh, dude, he threw 3 innings and he looked really good and he struck out 3 guys or 4 guys." And you're like, okay, it's AAA guys. He's just rehabbing, whatever. No, we won't even talk about it. He's doing it in the big leagues. Again, I have been very adamant about this. I do not like that he's doing this in the big leagues. I don't like that process because you need to build up the intensity and you're starting at 10 instead of building up from a 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. You're a big leaguer. Guys don't go to the minor leagues and throw all out very first outing. You build up to build into the big league intensity. He's starting at the top, which tends to, on the long run, add more stress and more danger to the arm. That's why you don't do it. That's why you never see guys doing what he's doing. Major League Baseball making the rule of him being able to hit is probably one of the only reasons I think they are doing this and getting away with it. Because he just leaves the game and then he's normal Shohei Ohtani. It's not fair. He's still a top 10, top 5 pitcher when healthy. He's a top 10 pitcher. And that's the thing. Like if you go top 10 pitcher right now, Christopher Sanchez at 2.5 with an 8.2. Yamamoto is a 2.59, probably the 11th ranked ERA. I still think he's top 10 ability and talent as a starting pitcher, though he's not even top 100 because he's only thrown 10 innings or 9 innings. So
okay, right. But I'm talking about based on what you've seen, what his numbers are, and his track record. If he was a
top 10, top 5 pitcher right now in the league, because the way he's throwing is just blowing guys away. It's incredible. Again, the 9 innings apart, but we know where he has a track record when he's healthy. He's a 3 ERA pitcher, which is incredible. He's an amazing pitcher who's also the best hitter in the league minus one guy. And so it's amazing what he's able to do and how he can do it. I still have him as a top 5, top 10 pitcher.
I was thinking about this the other day and I was trying to go, and when you were just naming those pitchers, I was trying to stop you so that you can go through those pitchers. For example, Yamamoto. If you had the option of signing pitcher Ohtani or pitcher Yamamoto, who are you taking?
Yamamoto.
Okay, you have the ability to sign Roki Sasaki or Ohtani. Okay.
Well, the only problem, like, yeah, I mean, Sasaki, though, is the same thing as Ohtani because he's just way younger, but no track record and can't be healthy versus Ohtani track record and can't be healthy.
But Roki has had control problems as opposed to Ohtani. Roki does
that'll get answered. I think,
of course, that'll get answered. But right now, I'm talking about. But you go around the league, and I can't think of other than Skeens, Skubal,
Garrett Crochet, DeGrom, Boyd, Wheeler, Hunter Brown, Max Fried, Chris Bubik, who we saw in the All-Star game, Robbie Ray, right? He's a Cy Young.
Wait, you would take Robbie Ray over him? Over Ohtani?
Cy Young winner. He's a 2.6 ERA right now. He's 9-3. That's Ohtani's best year.
Okay.
And this is his normal year. Like, Robbie Ray's had some really, really good years.
Okay, maybe I just underestimate Robbie Ray.
Like, what?
Maybe I just underestimate Robbie Ray.
I think you're under. Yeah, but I think I think it's underestimating Robbie Ray, and it's overestimating how healthy Ohtani's been. Ohtani, I mean, two Tommy Johns has missed a lot of time, and his best year is what Robbie Ray's doing right now.
Okay.
So that's the only thing with Ohtani. Like, his very best year is Robbie Ray right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we go, okay, like, who would you have? A two-time Tommy John pitcher whose best year is the other guy right now. Age-wise, maybe, and all this other stuff, but like Freddie Peralta. I'll take Freddie Peralta any day over Ohtani. I know what I'm getting every single time he steps on that mound. With Ohtani, it's incredible. The higher upside, but his every day is exactly what Freddie Peralta, like, Ohtani's second best year was a 3.3. Freddie has a 2.6 right now and 11-4. Like, he's a Cy Young candidate every single year. Ohtani can't be on that field every year. So that's where I'm like, all right, like, there's a lot of guys like Framber Valdez. I'll take Framber Valdez every day of the week over Ohtani. And it's not because of the ceiling. Ohtani's ceiling is way higher. It's just Framber just keeps doing it and keeps doing it at World Series level pitching and Cy Young level pitching, like a Joe Ryan. He keeps showing up in these, like, higher level. We don't give him that next level of, like, boom, but he's pitching like it constantly and healthy. That's the only thing is Ohtani. It's like DeGrom. Every time he steps on the mound, he might be the best pitcher in the world. I just don't know if he's going to step on the mound every day.
Right. All right, but can you?
I need consistency on my starting pitcher, like Logan Webb. I mean, dude.
I mean, he's the most consistent in baseball right now.
Mackenzie Gore. Like, would you rather have Mackenzie Gore or Ohtani? Like, I'm thinking of Mackenzie Gore as a pitcher.
For the long term, probably. But if I have one game 7 of the World Series, and I'd probably take Ohtani because I know the ceiling is higher.
But that's the ceiling, right? That's like, right. Would you rather have Nolan Ryan or Roger Clemens in the one game of the World Series? I'm taking Roger every day of the week, even though, like, Nolan Ryan had one of the best careers of all time. Like would you take and here you go, Pedro or Nolan Ryan? Like, for their career, I'm taking Nolan Ryan. I'm taking Pedro. What'd you say?
I'm taking Pedro over anybody at his peak.
Take Andy Pettitte in the World Series in one game? I don't know. Like, it's like, so as you start getting there, like, ceiling in that one game and, like, all that stuff, like Randy Johnson. But Randy Johnson, like, only pitched in the World Series, one time? Or do you pitch a dude that's just did it every year, even though Randy Johnson had better? I don't know. It gets really interesting when you're talking about one game. Like, one game, I'm taking DeGrom.
I don't know why this just popped in my head.
But I was Skeens at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know why this popped in my head, but do you think that they could have thrown Pedro out of a game if he went and he touched his hair and then grabbed the ball? Because you got all that Jerry curl juice all over the ball. Could you get thrown out for that?
Nowadays, yes.
Probably.
Back then, they're like, yeah, get that juice on that ball.
Anyhow, yeah. Ohtani, though, I'm looking for him to have an awesome second half.
And this is one of the best starts he's ever had to a season, just so people know. Like, this is one of the best first months he's ever had. Again, it's mid-July. It's a little different, but
Oh, listen, I'm calling it right now, and I've said it before this season started. Next season, when he's fully healthy, Cy Young, MVP, the perfect season, and he goes out. I mean, he's not going to retire, but I would. If I won the Cy Young and MVP in the same season, adios, guys. I'm the greatest of all time.
But that's you, and I love all these things when you're like, I would do this. Like, yeah, that's why you're not a big leaguer, and that's why it's because you think so short sighted. Like, I'm just here for the money. Well, yeah, that's why you're not a big leaguer. That's why like these guys are. They want these. They have the much loftier goals than just doing something once.
It's amazing how good friends you and I are, but how much you would hate me if we were teammates.
We would never be teammates
because I wouldn't make it to the show.
And I would give you the talent of anybody else. It's just when you're like, yeah, if I did that, I would quit. Like, well, congratulations. Like, you would have probably quit in high school because you probably would have had a no-hitter in high school and you would have quit because, like, I did it. And, like, you're the guy that has, like, the Dominican kid that's only goal is to get to the United States. I saw it a million times because their only goal in life for their entire 16 years was to get to the United States. Well, then some team ships them to the United States and then they just quit. I saw it so many times. That would be you.
No, my goal is to be George Costanza. It's about showmanship and going out on top. So I win the MVP and the Cy Young. That's it for me. No? All right. Before we move on to our next thing, I want to mention a wonderful company called J&J Sports Cards, where you can get said Ohtani cards. You can get Cal Raleigh big dumper cards, all the baseball cards you want and more. And if we don't have it on our eBay listing right now, send us a message. We might have it. I sold a beautiful Paul Skeens first Bowman autograph the other day. We sold a wonderful Cal Raleigh autographed rookie. You want the good guys, we got them. Reach out to us on eBay and check out J&J Sports Cards. All right, Mr. Ardsma, we started the show talking about your son DZ and his golf goals, and we had the MLB Draft the other day. Did you notice how many sons of major leaguers were drafted? I want to know why this is happening.
Well, one, it's pretty dang cool. I saw some articles and I saw this during the draft. 8 players were sons of big leaguers. This isn't unusual. This is really normal, extremely normal for this to be happening. This is probably actually, I bet it's less this year than it has been other years. I mean, I think with the Blue Jays, we had like 8 guys in the organization at one time, and Clemens, Guerrero, Biggio, Bichette. I mean, those guys were on one team, and we had some other guys. Oh, we had another guy's son, Craig Counsell, I think it was his son or somebody. So many different guys. It was absolutely insane. So I love this. I love that Major League Baseball still does this even with the shorter draft, which means these guys are actually earning it. Sometimes with that big long draft where you had 50 rounds, everyone would get it. These are some of the names, by the way. Max McGuire. You might recognize the last name. Caden Kent. Manny Ramirez Jr. I don't know if you pick up that name. Figure out whose son he is. Ethan Holiday. Austin Przinsky. Brady Counsell.
Before
Jake
we move past
Casey, let's get all the names, and then Karsten Sabathia. So those were the 8 players whose dads had a little bit to do with Major League Baseball.
Sorry, I was talking over you. Ethan Holiday, Austin Przinsky, Brady Counsell, Jake Casey, and Karsten Sabathia. What an interesting group of people. So let's just go from the very beginning. Max McGuire. We know who his father is, Mark McGuire, at one point the single-season home run king. God, I look at that picture right now. Look how little Mark McGuire was before PEDs.
Right. His son looks pretty big. Looks like a big boy.
Yeah, it looks like a big boy. I'm rooting for him. Caden Kent, your former teammate? You just missed him, right?
I played against him in my Major League debut. I played against him.
Yes, he was on the Astros by then. He had left the Giants. So Jeff Kent, former Met, former Giant, former Astro, his son Caden. Weird spelling, but I dig it. I think it's kind of a cool name.
Texas A&M. Yes.
Manny Ramirez Jr., probably already doing more steroids than we can imagine. I'm kidding. Do not sue me. It was a joke. Manny Ramirez Sr., steroid head. Manny Ramirez Jr., hopefully not. but I hope he's not as interesting as his old man was in the clubhouse. That's for sure. Ethan Holiday. Alex, can you get me that picture of Ethan Holiday and the Holiday family together real quick up on the screen? I'm looking at this picture of the Holiday family, and once Alex can bring it up, I'd appreciate it. It reminds me so much of the Aardsma family. You have those two boys with the beautiful hair, and then Matt Holiday covering up his baldness with the hat. That is Aardsma Part 2 right there. And the wife is cute, by the way.
Wife is a very attractive lady, but it's such a cool thing keeping in the family. Obviously, we know about the Holidays and what Matt Holiday did in the big leagues with the Cardinals and the Rockies, being a huge part of that Rockies organization when he was there, then moving on to the Cardinals. And then, his brother over in Baltimore doing his thing and getting being better. And Ethan being one of the top talents in this draft. I think he was taken fourth overall. And
by his father's
with the Rockies family is so cool.
Yep. Then we have Austin Przinsky, whose father, AJ Przinsky, played for a guy named Ozzie Guillen, and Ozzie Guillen said it best. If AJ Przinsky is on the opposition, you hate him. If he's on your team, you hate him a little less.
So true. I love it.
I happen to love AJ. I think he's hilarious.
3 teams. I played with him with 3 different teams, like beginning, middle, and end of my career.
Yeah, I love AJ. He's always been good to me. He was always funny. I love him. But man, if you're Austin, you have to go into Major League Baseball with everybody knowing that your dad was polarizing. That's got to be different.
No one cares. None of these players know his dad. Like, none of these players care about his dad. It's the coaches. Yeah. That's the problem, is all the coaches know who his dad is. But again, AJ also had this polarizing, he also had this like ability to get people to be like, oh, okay, AJ. Like, they were fine with it. They just were annoyed by it. Like, yes, you hate him a little less. But people won't take that against him. They'll probably actually have fun with it, a lot of it. But his son's, it seems like, to be a really good catcher. Hit 371 with 29 runs his senior year at First Academy in Orlando. And I remember watching him. It's so fun to see these kids and be like, I spent time with a lot of these kids. Like, these kids were on the teams that I was running around, like Przinsky. I was on the team with Przinsky, Manny Ramirez. I was there, played against Ken, never against Mark McGuire. But like a lot of these guys, like CC, I was on the team with CC. We were teammates. So it's like Sean Casey, we were teammates. I was teammates with almost every one of these guys, and probably saw these kids running around the locker rooms.
Yeah, and Jake Casey, he plays outfield. Sean Casey's son, who was drafted, man, he should switch to first base, because everybody's going to want to talk to him if he's anything like his father. Sean Casey, they called him the mayor. There would be like town halls at first base.
Probably will end up being first base at some point. And then same thing as Sean Casey, he was outfield and probably shift to first base at some, when he did. And we'll see. He probably is really quiet. He's probably the exact opposite.
Yeah, go figure. Now, here's my question though. Why is it that all these guys are going into Major League Baseball, and a lot of them are very high draft picks? It's not just because of their last name. What is it? Now, granted, genetics plays a huge role, and we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. You got a little pissed off when you thought that I was saying you weren't getting – no, but we were having a conversation where we were talking about how working, and you made it sound like I thought that you didn't work hard. I know you worked hard. However, you were born with great genetics. There's nothing that I could have ever done in my life to be able to throw a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. You had that.
But there was a million other things besides genetics that got me to throw 102 miles an hour. And that's the thing that, like, there's a million things that I've been around other people that were way better than me that they didn't do, that they had genetics that blew my genetics out of the water. I didn't have professional athlete parents. I had parents that didn't like playing in college. I'm taller than both my parents. I was gifted in some ways, without a doubt. But I was also told by a bunch of big leaguers that I'll never make it, that I had never had good enough, and I'll never throw hard. I remember a Colorado Rocky pitcher told me straight to my face when I was in high school, you will never throw hard enough to make it.
It was Mike Hampton, wasn't it?
Well, no. But those are the things that piss me off more than anything. Yes, I had the genetics, but you're a big boy. You're a big, strong fucking guy. Like, it's also mindset. And it's mindset, and it's mindset, and it's mindset, and it's mindset. Because I played around a whole lot of guys that should never have been big leaguers, and everyone sits down and goes, "Oh my God, you were just born with so much talent." No, I saw guys that worked harder than anybody on that field, that made more out of themselves than ever would have, with players that are way better than them. And I guarantee you were probably better than me my freshman year in high school, sophomore year in high school. You were probably way better at those ages than I ever was.
But this is what I'm trying to say. You took it as me saying that you never worked hard. I know you worked hard. Everybody knows you worked hard to get to Major League Baseball.
But I had to work so much harder than everybody else.
But what I'm saying is, if you didn't have those genetics, it would have made it 100 times more difficult. Now, in the case of these guys, they have the genetics, and this is why I brought it up, because it's not only about the genetics. What is it that they are taught that you're teaching your boys right now, that these guys are teaching their sons? Does it have to do so much with that mindset that these boys were brought up with? Is that the reason they're succeeding? Is it more the genetics? Tell me, why is it that these young guys, sons of ball players, are making it to the show?
The mindset's a monster, dude. You have no idea how huge that mindset is. We talk about it being in the locker room and being around the culture, but it's being around that dad with the culture. Like, I can look down every one of these guys on that list and go, they were mindset monsters. They were guys that would never accept being just good enough. You see these kids and you see what they go through, and you get them in the organizations, and you're like, these dudes are not happy without being the greatest every day and being the greatest until they retire. They might not become the greatest, but they're not happy until they are the greatest. So them winning MVP, never good enough for them. It is not good enough for them. And that's the beautiful part. That's why you see these guys is, yes, they have genetics without a doubt, but then they're taught that by their dads and moms and family around them, the work ethic, the mindset, the process. Like, you watch the cool things with, like, I know they highlighted the Holiday family when they've gone through, and like, dad built them all the stuff in the world to be able to do it. But you watch them on their own probably every single morning go and work. And it's cool listening to Bryce Harper talk about what it took to become a big leaguer and how he played some ridiculous amount of baseball every day and you couldn't get him off the baseball field. These guys are the same way. You can't get these guys off the field. They want it that bad. The dad being a big leaguer helps them, but their dad, AJ Przinsky's dad wasn't a big leaguer, or like Matt Holliday's dad wasn't like, or, his family's pretty good, but like the dad above them wasn't either. So like, at some point, it's just, there's a consistent thing, and it's not just talent, because like, as somewhere guys weren't big leaguers. Yeah. It's that mindset, it's that process, it's the culture in that family. Like we thought, like Jeff Kent's dad wasn't a big league all-star, almost Hall of Famer. So what happened there? Maybe it's a mindset, it's a process, it's that work ethic that was handed off. They just focused on baseball.
Yeah, and look, we were in Greece a couple of years ago, and I remember we were sitting by the pool, and I was playing catch with JD. Even on vacation, he brought his glove, you brought your glove, and we were playing catch because that's what he does. He wants to be a ball player. That's exactly what it is. And genetics certainly is helping JD, hopefully not on the hair thing, because kid's got a great head of hair. But it's not, but the work ethic comes with it. Look at the Griffey family. Craig exactly didn't take the world by a storm when he was in Major League Baseball, but Ken did, and they had the same genetics, same dad, but Junior probably worked a hell of a lot harder than Craig did.
Probably, absolutely, and or you know what, or just got something a little bit different, right? And it might not have, maybe Craig worked just as hard, but he made the very best out of what he did. And
right.
But you watch Griffey, like Griffey worked his ass off. He's a lot of fun. He's like having a great time with it, but you worked his ass off to get what is, and it's just genetics gets you to a point, but it's mindset in that process. Like Ken, like how it is. You challenge him, and he will never quit. No. He will never quit. And like when I see these kids in little league teams or like whatever teams I'm coaching, I can point them out and say, that's the kid. That's the kid. That's the kid. And it's not always the most talented one. It's
the one
like
who wants it the most.
it's the one here because you don't know when the talent's going to hit. Like I sucked. I didn't make Little League All-Star teams. I didn't make travel ball teams. I didn't get to do anything. I should have gotten cut for my freshman year in baseball. If I didn't go to the high school I did, who had 2 freshman team, I wouldn't have even played freshman year baseball. That's how my genetics were. My genetics got me to a point of not even playing freshman year of baseball. It's the mindset, and the work that went beyond that. Dude, I was big and tall. I was strong, but these guys were just better because they had better genetics than me. But then when they were on their baseball team, whatever, having fun, I was working and then working and then working and then woke up and worked and like went to school and worked and like those things they didn't do. And so all these guys that were actually genetically better than me, I passed them. I left high school 155 pounds. I wasn't this genetic freak. I was built to be good here first. And that's where a lot of people don't. Like these guys up here are monsters, are just beasts. And we discount that and we put that last. That's actually the first thing that happens is this. And then Dustin Pedroia, you walk in a door and you laugh at him.
Oh, look at Jose Ohtani.
But then you talk to him and you're like, oh my God. Like he can't do more push-ups than you. He can't lift more than you. He's not genetically bigger, faster, stronger. You would whoop his ass. But he will get up and fight. And then you whoop his ass. He'll get up and fight you. And you'll whoop his ass. He'll get up and fight. And eventually he will beat your ass because it's here. And that's like Altuve. We all make fun of Altuve. Like, dude, that dude never stops.
You know who they are? They're Steve Rogers Captain America formula.
Talk about Steve Rogers. Let's go.
One last thing on this father-son thing, though. How much does socioeconomics have to do with it? Meaning, now it's a lot of travel ball. It's a lot of, that bat is better in certain ways. Like, how much does the family?
A good baseball player will get found no matter where you play. You can be in the corner of Haiti. If you were a good enough baseball player, socioeconomics has got nothing to do with it because, dude, all of these actually a lot of it gets taken away by all these travel teams. All these travel teams and all these tournaments, dude, 90%, 95% of these tournaments, not one scout's even at. But they're being told they have to play. They have to play. But if a dude walked into one showcase and walked up and like a gorilla dragging his bat behind him and hit or threw whatever number, the dude's going to get drafted. It doesn't matter. A scout will find you. I could build you in a barn for your whole life and show up at a showcase and throw. If you had the stuff, they're going to sign you. And they'll draft you number 1 overall if you have the stuff. All these showcases, don't fall for it. Don't fall for the showcase BS. Like all these Team USA, all these prodigy stuff, like they rank them. Yes, they get to see scouts more often. But dude, I can't tell you the amount of players from around nowhere that are just better that always get drafted and get that opportunity because when you walk up and the scouts see what it is, they see it. They know it. You can't hide a good baseball player. You can't hide it.
Before we move on to my next segment, I just wanted to bring up a little thing that I saw yesterday on Instagram, and I actually messaged this person, a guy that we mentioned earlier in the show, a man that we had on our old show, a man who I am a huge fan of, made a big faux pas yesterday on Instagram. Mike Hampton said something about being the best hitting pitcher. And I was so upset when I saw that. I messaged Hampton and I said, yo, what about Bartolo? He was pretty good. But going back to what I was saying before, how much would you have loved to have seen Mike Hampton in a home run derby? That would have been awesome in the All-Star game. All right, I digress. That was my quick little thing about Mike Hampton. Now we're going to make our number 1 fan in the whole world, Carla, super happy because it is finally time for our Seattle Mariners Mount Rushmore. David, you are a Seattle Mariner. You are not, unfortunately, on the Mount Rushmore, although you're in the Mount Rushmore of my heart, buddy. Who is your number one player in the Seattle Mariners Mount Rushmore?
So we talked about like the Mount Rushmores. I'm trying to move some stuff around. We're talking about the Mount Rushmores on different teams and how they would compare to other teams. This is an interesting one because the top couple guys on this list could go up against almost anybody on any list. So this is a fun one. Number one on the list is our boy, our man, who actually messaged us while we were on the show on Instagram. He DM'd us right there, but Mr. Ken Griffey Jr.
What can we say about Junior? Hell, we talk about him all the time. You know that David loves him. You know that I love him. JD loves him. Just the greatest pure player I have ever seen. I will say that until Ohtani, he was the best or second best all-around player in the history of the game, in my opinion, up there with Willie Mays, up there with Mickey Mantle. He is the GOAT, and he is the GOAT of good people. I love Junior. Add something to it because I don't know what the hell else to say.
Let's go through some numbers. MVP, 13-time All-Star, 10 times Gold Glover, 3-time Home Run Derby champion. Now that's a thing. 7-time Silver Slugger, Major League Player of the Year, All-Star Game MVP. I mean, what do you want to say about him? Just the greatest player, the purest of swings, completely changed baseball in so many ways on the field and more importantly off the field. You know, one of the highest voted Hall of Famers of all time. Just Junior, the kid, whatever you want to call him, incredible.
And they even have the Swingman Classic right before the All-Star Game to honor Junior. He's that important. He's that great for the game, and we absolutely love him.
And injuries, a couple knees things while he has his time in Cincinnati. And remember, he played on turf for so many years. Some knee things were probably the only thing stopping him from being on that extremely short list of greatest players of all time.
I think if he didn't get injured, he would have been the best player of all time.
I am there with you. It's sad to have seen that because it was like so great. And easily could have been a multi-time MVP. What's so funny is he only won one MVP. And it's you're like, dude, this guy dominated for years. Yeah, he did. Dominated for years and did it in a steroid era time, completely null void of steroids. And it was amazing.
And for the youngsters right now who don't understand how important Junior was, he was not just the face of baseball like Ohtani or Judge right now, but he transcended that. He had commercials. How many Judge commercials do you see? Not many. I mean, there's a few, don't get me wrong, but Junior was on The Simpsons. He was on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in movies. I mean, he was that big of a cultural icon. It was Bo, it was Junior, and it was MJ during the 90s. That's it. Those were the guys.
And he was third in Rookie of the Year to Greg Olson and Tom Gordon. Crazy. Absolutely great. But it wasn't just on those things. He was an icon, and like he was, they're like Jordan in basketball and Bo Jackson and everything, but then him in baseball, like he was rival. Video games, like his own video game, not just a baseball video game with him on the cover. Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. Like there was, the commercials were legit. Like you wanted his merch. Guys still are wearing his merch, and that's like baseball isn't bringing that back too is amazing. Like your favorite player's favorite player.
Yeah. And my favorite part about what Junior did and his video game, I don't know if I told you this. I'm pretty sure I told you this. I had Junior sign a video game for our producer, Alex, because, they know each other as well, because we're all in business together. And on the back of the video game, it says, "To Alex, grow up, Ken Griffey Jr." It's the best. And of course, on the front, he did it the right way. "To Alex, best wishes." No, it wasn't that one. It was the N64 one. But yeah,
that's amazing.
That's how big he was. You play Madden, you play Ken Griffey Jr. baseball.
Yep.
All right, who's up next?
Some feathers here. The greatest DH of all time until Ohtani.
Stop. No, I can't give you better than third.
What?
I'll take Big Papi over Edgar
No,
at DH.
Edgar.
Really?
I think statistically too, Edgar beats him.
Yeah, but
It just Papi had those moments. Just Edgar had those moments too. Like let's not forget, Edgar had some of the biggest moments in Mariner history, just like Papi did with the Red Sox. I think Papi just transcended baseball a little bit when he took the mic and talked about the bombing and like this is our fucking town. That sort of things and like he got elevated on this other stage that Edgar didn't get to be on. But Edgar Martinez is absolutely amazing, Hall of Famer for the Mariners. This guy was a part of those same 90s Mariners team that Griffey was on. Some of the biggest plays in Mariners history. Him and Junior together saved baseball in Seattle. Hall of Famer, 7-time All-Star, 2-time batting champion, 5-time Silver Slugger, Clemente Award winner. And a lot of people forget he was a third baseman for a while. He played other positions and was DH at the end of his career.
I was always a fan of Edgar. I had a bit of a problem when he got into the Hall of Fame because he was primarily a DH. I've changed my tune on that because of what I've seen from David Ortiz and him getting into the Hall, and obviously what I've seen with Ohtani, although Ohtani's not a DH, blah, blah, blah. But Edgar Martinez was a crazy
Ohtani
hitter.
is a DH, though. Ohtani's a DH he's a pitcher, but like for most of his career, he's going to end up being just a DH.
He'll move to the outfield. Anyway. Now, the next guy up, which I can't believe was after Edgar on your list. I don't know if you do it in any particular.
No.
Okay. And
not necessarily. I do actually. No, I don't do it in any particular thing. By the way, Edgar Martinez has a higher WAR, way higher batting average, 312 to 286. On base percentage is above by 40 points. Ortiz has them on slugging, OPS and OPS plus. Edgar has on both of those.
Really?
RBIs. Ortiz has more home runs. He has many more. But hits are relatively the same, only 200 off. But Ortiz had almost 2,000 or 1,400 more plate appearances. 1,400 more plate appearances with only 200 more hits, 230 more home runs. So a lot of those things would have evened out if Edgar had the same type of numbers, the longevity of David Ortiz. But OPS plus and OPS were higher than Ortiz.
That's funny. I would have guessed the OPS plus would be higher for Edgar, but I didn't think that the OPS would have been higher. Interesting.
Because everybody puts Ortiz on this pedestal, and with the championships and stuff like that and Boston and East Coast, and like Edgar wasn't as good, and Edgar shouldn't have been a Hall of Famer. Papi for sure. Like it's like wait, like they're the same, and Papi had a lot more at bats. Like Edgar had higher WAR if we want to throw into that thing. Like and higher WAR by 13. By the way,
that's significant. That's
significant.
Not a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Up next, Ichiballs.
Ichiro, Hall of Famer, MVP, 10 times All-Star, Silver Slugger. What do you say? 10-time Gold Glover, one of the best arms in baseball. 2-time batting champion, like MVP, Rookie of the Year came in, had probably the greatest rookie season in Major League history. Absolutely incredible, like what he was able to do. Probably the only downfall with Ichiro in his entire career that he was focused on hits, and not a pure leadoff hitter. Some of the teams might have been better if he was more of a pure leadoff hitter, but he wouldn't have had the hits. In my eyes, he's my hitting champion. He's my batting champion in all of baseball. If you had him in the Japanese years and his years, more hits than Pete Rose overall, and he played a lot less games when he was in Japan than he did in a lot less games over those seasons.
If you're going to change the rules to make Josh Gibson, who did not play in Major League Baseball, he played in the Negro Leagues. If you're going to change the rules to make Josh Gibson the highest batting average of all time, then you change the rules to make Ichiro the all-time hit king. It's the same exact thing.
Yep. I completely agree with you. It's the same thing. We can argue up and down, but are you calling this baseball stats or Major League Baseball stats? Because Major League Baseball is one thing. Baseball stats are a whole nother. And if we're going to do one, like we have to seriously look at the other. But either way, 200 hits for however many years in a row. This dude was one of the best teammates I ever had. We will get to Seattle and get to hang out with him when he gets his number retired. Just got it. We're just waiting to email the Mariners again.
I cannot wait. I'm going to tell him flat out that he is the greatest con man in the history of sports. Because this idea, well, not even the idea, the fact that this guy got away with doing interviews for his entire career. I no speak English. Bullshit. You spoke English. We all knew it. And you kept up the con forever. God bless you, Ichiro, that you can do that. It's just awesome.
And in case you're wondering, 0 for 1 on me.
0 for 1?
0 for 1.
Where, how did that happen? When
I believe I was with the Red Sox. I believe I was with the Red Sox, and he hit a comebacker, and I knocked it down and then got him out.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I did not know that. All this time, we never discussed that. That's cool.
Yep.
And finally, the last man.
Junior's 0 for 1. He's 0 for 1. Whatever.
Yeah, but you faced Junior when he was old and broken down, probably, right?
Yeah, but that's the only time I could have.
But it doesn't. But they don't have that asterisk in the book, right?
Nope.
Exactly. Finally, the last guy in the list, and I can't agree with you more, Felix Hernandez.
Felix Hernandez, borderline Hall of Famer, just didn't have like the accumulation of numbers. I think a lot of it had to do with being on bad teams. But when you're going to start talking about Hall of Famers in like a Zach Greinke conversation and guys like that, Felix has to jump on that list. Cy Young Award winner, should have won the Cy Young twice. He was also he was Cy Young 1, Cy Young 2, Cy Young 4, Cy Young 2, Cy Young 8, Cy Young 7. He had an incredible run, was just on some Mariner teams that didn't give him enough wins, enough credibility. He could have easily been over 200 wins if he would have been on some better teams. Great teammate. I love it. 2-time ERA title, 6-time All-Star. I mean, what can you say? Like, I was on there and I pitched I was his closer for arguably his best 2 years. And so a 19-5 year, he didn't win the Cy Young. He lost that to the Greinke when that was the first like analytic year. And then the next year he was 13-12 and won the Cy Young. So he got it back.
I never met him. I never spoke to him. What kind of guy was he? Good guy, talkative, quiet. Tell me a little bit. Give us
not crazy talkative, not crazy quiet either. Just like obviously didn't speak the best of English, but again, like spoke good enough. I liked hanging out with him. We weren't like close by any means. It just just worked out that way. But he was always a great teammate, and I love being around him. And he tended to always have a smile and was having fun with stuff. So yeah,
I've heard about pitchers that you do not go near on game day. What was he like on game day?
I never went near any starting pitcher on game day. Never even thought about it. So like they all to me was, I understood it and gave them space.
Gotcha.
But he was fine. Like I will say this, he was fine. And one of the funniest things was pine tar was still like in the realm of that we could use back in the day. He would sit there and have his hands completely full of pine tar. He'd pull them apart and it looked like huge spider webs, and like, but he could do things with the baseballs that I couldn't even dream about doing.
You ever saw the movie The Replacements?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like, that's what it looked like.
He's like, I look like I just jacked off an elephant. I love that movie. All right, the next guy would be the first man out, and that would be Alex Rodriguez. Now, under all other circumstances, he should be number 2 on this list, or 3, depending on Ichiro, but the steroid accusations, or the steroids, period. There wasn't accusations, he got popped.
No, I would say actually what stops him, nothing to do with any of this, is he didn't play long enough as a Mariner. Felix had a longer, more... Felix, my last one on that list, had more time and more impact as a Mariner. Alex did not. He only spent 6 years there, or 7 years. And so he didn't play long enough. It was an incredibly impressive 7 years or whatever it was. He didn't spend enough time in Texas. He didn't spend enough time in New York. Alex didn't end up on any of these lists. And I'm sorry, I'm jumping the list to the Texas Rangers, but he is not on any list because he just didn't spend enough time there. So that's what stops me on this list. And obviously he had the PED stuff going on in his career, but Barry's on this. David Ortiz, talking about David Ortiz. And so, like, when you get down there, like, it didn't have any impact on this. To me, he became such a good hitter. I mean, in 96 was his first really, like, that was his first full year, but he only played 97, 98, 99, 2000. 2001, he was in Texas. So he didn't have an impact on the Mariners the way other players did. But again, I mean, when he was there, you saw a superstar immediately.
40 man.
You know what was going to happen. You know where this road was going. And there was no one else in Mariners history yet that was able to just have that, like, wow factor. And like, dude, if he just stayed there, he would have been a Hall of Famer. Minus PED stuff, he would have been a Hall of Famer with the Mariners if he just stayed there. And we've talked about it on the show, a lot of interesting stuff about that.
Yeah. Still, my favorite story is when Junior and some other guys on the Mariners told them that they were starting a new business venture and they wanted to buy semen from players, and they tricked A-Rod into wanting to donate his semen to this business venture.
I can see that. But again, let's go to the numbers. 3 times MVP, World Series champion, 10 times Silver Slugger, Player of the Year, 2-time Gold Glover, batting title, 14-time All-Star. Minus PEDs, very short list. Minus PEDs, he's on the shortest of short lists. If you take that all away, like the Barry Bonds stuff, like Barry Bonds number 1, Alex would be, as a hitter, probably in that conversation for Mount Rushmore of greatest hitters of all time.
And let's add Torrey Wilson and let's see, Cameron Diaz, among others, to his accolades.
Kate Hudson.
Yeah, I think J-Lo at one point. That guy was.
J-Lo. He was married to J-Lo, bro.
Was he?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, he's got all sorts of accolades.
My favorite videos is like when him, like, it's rookie year, and they said, who's your dream girl? It's Jennifer Lopez. He goes, I'm going to marry Jennifer Lopez. And that was his rookie year in big leagues. And then he ends up marrying her.
Huh. That's funny. All right. Last thing before we end the show, we're going to talk about the guy who.
Nope. One more.
I said before we end the show, we're going to talk about the guy who's on the team right now that could make it. However, you did this list right at the beginning of the season.
It was funny. We haven't even talked about this, and I already prepped for it.
Okay, because I prepped for it too.
Talk about this. Yes.
You put Julio Rodriguez as the guy on the team who could make this Mount Rushmore. Have you changed your view?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Julio Rodriguez, I believe, is still the next guy up. And you want to know why? Is that he's 24 years old. Cal Raleigh's rookie year was 24 years old. He's 28 now. He is perfectly in the prime of his career. Julio and Cal, I don't even know how much longer he's going to be a Mariner. Julio Rodriguez is 24. He still has 4 years before his prime. What?
Cal got signed to an extension, so he's going to be there for a while.
For a little while. Who knows where that's going to end up being at 32, right? Mm-hmm. There's going to be there's a lot of time between now, and we know Julio ain't going anywhere. Yeah. So Julio still has him in a lot of categories, like batting average. He's 50 points higher than Cal, and on base percentage and slugging, they're very close. OPS plus, Julio has them. Like hits, Julio's ahead of him. Home runs, he's behind, but those numbers are going to catch up. They're going to catch up. It's just a matter of if he can do it in that stadium and as a Mariner over time. We have to figure out that stadium. Cal's obviously is having a much better year. What Cal's done is so far is basically the same as what Julio's done. And Julio is also basically a Gold Glove, like center field, like candidates, like the way he robs home runs and covers ground without looking like it's hard.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to admit that I was wrong. And it doesn't happen very often when I'm wrong. But in this case, I was wrong. Before the season, when they signed Cal Raleigh to an extension, I said, why give him that money now and put it on the books when he can use that on another player? Thank God the Mariners signed him to that extension before, or he was going to cost them at least another $10 million per year. So good job by Jerry DiPoto.
They saw it coming.
Yeah, well, that's why, unfortunately, I don't work for Major League Baseball, even though, God, how is it that I know the owner of the team and I can't get a job?
Right.
Messed up. Dave, you got anything else to add before the end of the day?
Keep the All-Star game. I love it.
All right. And I still say let's make the pitchers hit in the All-Star game and the hitters pitch. Talk to you next week, guys. It was a lot of fun. Bye-bye.